and you're listening to and watching Brunch in the Basement with JaVonne and Terez.
Still in the basement, no longer alone, with my homegirl Terez on the microphone. Music, politics, or just chatting it up. Brunch in the basement, see that's what's up. You never know who might run through. Legendary artist or someone brand new. You miss a lot when you miss one day. At least that's what I heard somebody say. But it doesn't really matter what whoever says. It's always a good show with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Brunch in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Let's see who we got today or what we doing today or whatever it is, it's gonna be good. Woo!
Yeah.
I'm on Everybody's a Friend in my head. I already know everybody. One day I'll tell you about me and Shaka Khan, but you know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But she doesn't know anything about it. But anyway. No, she doesn't. She wasn't even there actually. But anyway. The time, so
and we thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you. This part, that little piece, I'm just gonna keep and play it all the time for myself. But no, I'm just teasing.
That's the way it was. Happened so naturally. Didn't I know it was love? The next thing I felt was you holding me close. What was I gonna do? I let myself go. Now we fly through the stars. I hope this night will last forever. I've been waiting for you. It's been so long. I knew just what I would do when I heard your song. Fill my heart with this. You gave me freedom. You knew I could not resist. I needed someone. And now we're flying through the stars. I hope this night lasts forever. Ain't nobody loves me better. Makes me happy. Makes me feel this way. Ain't nobody loves me better. I wait for night time to bring it to me. I can't believe I'm the one. I was so lonely. I feel like no one to hear. I must be dreaming. I want this dream to be real. I need this feeling. I make my wish upon a star and hope this night will last forever. Ain't nobody loves me better. Makes me happy. Makes me feel this way. Ain't nobody loves me better. Ain't nobody loves me better than you. First you put your arms around me,
the scandal. All my homies in the way, so you gotta wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up.
Wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No more backwards thinking, time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much from what it used to be. There's so much hatred, war and poverty. Wake up, all the teachers, time to teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen to what you have to say. They're the ones who's coming up. The world is in their hands. When you teach the children, teach them the best you can.
Scream peace, do we mean it? Can you feel it when we scream it out loud? Do you believe that we need it? Do you believe that it could get right? Do you believe that the children of the world deserve a good life? Well, if you do, it's time to wake up your mind. We can make it better, and I know it might take some time, but we gotta start somewhere. How about with you and me? From us it goes to others, then we'll have our unity.
Wake up, all the doctors make the old people well. They're the ones who suffer, who catch all the hell, but they don't have so very long before the judgment day. So won't you make them happy before they pass away?
Wake up, all the builders, time to build a new land. I know we can do it, long as we lend a hand. The only thing we have to do is put it in our minds, and surely things will work out, 'cause they do it every time.
I ain't here to take up y'all time. I came to shake up y'all mind. It's everybody's wake up call time. I can't sleep too long. Why they do the people wrong? Let's clean the world up before they sweep you gone. This is real talk, you can peek through songs. So when you feel weak, these words will keep you strong and help make a change for the better. It's hard for one to do it, but we can make some changes together. Ghetto. Set a goal, put a plan up here. We gotta stand up here and give thanks to the man upstairs. Put the egos and the pride to the side regardless, and just be role models, parents, artists. We can make a change or we can make it the hardest. If you gonna make a baby, you should make them the smartest. Let them know good and bad, right from wrong, how to roll with the punches when life moves on. And the stress won't take toll if you don't sweat it. That won't get no better if we don't let it. Let the negative energy ride. Keep hope alive. It's about time that we open our eyes. Wake up.
Wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No more backward thinking, time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much from what it used to be. There's so much hatred, war and poverty. Wake up, 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 wake up.
Yeah, well y'all best to vote. I don't care about the guns you tote. Listen to me like you listen to Fahrenheit 9/11. Ain't no time for the second guess. The words I speak, the ones who sleep, the leadership's fiction mouthpiece. Jim's feast, teach the kids with peace. They don't have to worry about the police. We make them rich so they don't have the thief. Every artist here on this track. We'll make a change here for young cats. This is for everybody, white or black. You better go and vote and get up off your back. This life a rose on, lift your head, get your voice up. You see the power of the people, it's a choice to ignite love. Now the choice is a gift that our people have to fight for. And the price far too personal for anyone to ignore. Voice to be heard. Take the opportunity. Your responsibility. Your voice has to be heard. Save the world, save the world.
And the co-hostess with the mostest, Rez.
What's happening? Oh, am I hearing echo?
Yes, and I'm kind of glad about it, actually, to be honest. So I just eliminated it, but how's that? That's better?
That's much better. Flat. Got it.
Yeah. I was trying something because I wasn't sure. It's the whole call-in thing, which is why I've even eliminated it from the flyers these days, most recently.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not asking people to call in right now because I just need to make sure that it's functioning. I don't want people trying to call in, not getting through, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I really honestly feel like we have enough bells and whistles here. Now that we can put the little comments up, right? You can see Pop's comment, right? And so that means that every artist that runs through, they can see the comments. Now I've become a little more proficient with getting video that I can pop up there, So what about that? Run the tape, please. But it's really me. And I'm like,
let's go to the videotape.
Let's go to the, or should I let's lean in. Let's run the video.
Let's run that tape.
Yeah.
There's a couple, speaking of running that tape, there's a couple of people that in advance I'd like to run that tape on. There's some, this has been a messy week. And a week.
We're not, gonna talk about our entanglements, are we? I promised myself I wasn't going to use that word on the show, and yet I did.
Well, we cannot. We would be remiss if we didn't weigh in on some of that. I've heard it called a lot of. Will Smith's a Libra. That? He's a Libra.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a Libra guy, and
not unlike yourself.
Yeah, there's some things I can tell you about Libra personalities. And interesting. But let's just run down that red table talk, come to Jesus situation. You wanna weigh in on that? Do we really care?
Okay, well, I don't really care.
Okay.
Care like, oh my God, it's Will and Jada and blah blah blah. I don't care like that. I mean, they're human beings. And I respect everyone's right to, you swing it this way, I swing it that way. How could I be me and not be groovy with what you do you. Just go ahead, y'all over there. As long as you're not hurting children or defenseless animals, you know what I'm saying? Just y'all all grown folk, do your damn thing and tangle up,
Yeah.
But I saw somebody saying, now black folks, we only got one couple left. Barack and Michelle, we don't want to hear nothing about no entanglements, no who did what, nothing. We just have this one left. But that's not true. But that's...
Well, I'm gonna I just want to say officially, how do I sound coming through today? I'm just wondering. I'm
you sound
cool. I sound clear?
Yeah, you sound clear.
I'm just on a new
There's a little in and out a little bit, but you good.
Okay. I want to start off by saying, like, I really don't care about their marital stuff. So I'll approach it from a different angle, because what Will and Jada do with their marital business is their business, honestly. I'm not even sure why it's even out there like that, but I understand today's climate, and I understand that we have been living in an age of transparency for a very long time. And I often say this in my own household, with that, if you have made it through the 90s with all the scandaloso, when we weren't as busy on our cell phones and all kinds of devices for recording things, then don't leap your dumb. If you got out of the 90s unscathed, don't leap your dumb ass out there in this time, thinking that what they call them, receipts, like mess is as mess does, and like, if you made it out of the 90s, you should just be like laughing because you've just, but for those who get latent lessons, or those who tend to want to bump their head in an ego-based situation or entanglement, whatever you want to call it, only thing that I was able to, like, I don't really care who they elect to and what I care not to know that, it's like, you really don't, I don't want to know what they're doing or what they're not doing, or when, like, that's not of value to me. What is interesting though is, how you have to be careful because, and I'll just keep it on this, let's take it off Will and Jada, because, we ain't been talking about the mess, so let's not start it, but.
Exactly. But it's, it's a nice distraction right now, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Not a nice distraction, but it's a distraction. Nonetheless.
Yeah. Because the reality is really like, reality is bananas, right? The reality is
yeah.
Bring on the Flintstones.
But you know what, Rez, you really, as someone who knows me personally, I don't know how much you would know this about me, but you really should be proud about the fact that I even know anything about Will and Jada, because normally I am so far out of the loop. Y'all be talking about, the entanglement. I'm like, what the hell? Who got entangled? What happened? But I actually heard about it.
Yeah. And, and I just think that we need to keep it gully because, and I'm concerned about women of a certain age because I'm one, you know what I mean? And I'm really, really concerned at the way we are, some of us are electing to rock out in our prime time. You know what I mean? Like, if you are a woman between the ages of 38 and 52, somewhere in there, or even let's extend that a bit. If you're a woman in between 38 and, let's say, 55, you're setting yourself up for your golden years. You know what I mean? And I'm praying that you got a lot of the fuckery out the way, because, like, what did they say? When you are in your teens, you don't know nothing, and it's valid. You know nothing. You're trying to figure it out, and hopefully you want to do it the right way, whatever it is, and whatever the right is. And in your 20s, you messing around and you're doing your thing, and you're in the world trying to make a name or not make a name, or in school or whatever it is. So it's messy. 20s can be messy. 30s, you spend the time correcting what you did in your 20s. So hopefully you didn't do a decade's worth of mess, but the 30s is the time that you're fixing things out. You're saying, oh, okay, let me, tossing away some things. And your 40s, you kind of know maybe one or two things for sure. One or two things that you can always go to. You know what I mean? One or two things, and you're setting yourself up to, and you're relaxing your skin, and you're getting this vibe going, and you're just starting to pedal along because, you finished cleaning up the mess of your 30s. So now you are in your 40s, and you're supposed to be kind of, you could be kind of mess free. Not everybody, but maybe there's some new discoveries, maybe there's some new career choices, but you're trying to, you got some traction. You know what I mean? You got that 40s traction going on. And then there comes those 50s, right? And it all comes through laser speed. And 50, you're super sexy now. Like you're floating, you're doing you look like you're on coasters at 50, and you're looking back in the wind and you're saying, and then maybe you grab a minty or two, You know what I mean? That, you know, you can do a little life coaching, a little like, yo, girl, there goes that hole, don't step in it because I stepped in it enough for you, you know, that kind of stuff. And so, but you certainly, and then there are the ones that, you know, we read about, you know, the super sexy new 50-year-olds or whatever, and they got, you know, the Ashton Kutchers and the, you know, the folks connected to them. And they fly, you know, they paid, and they could, you know, as long as they're of age and ain't working through no other stuff, you know, then, you know, it's all good, you know. Men have been doing it, you know, and I'm not saying that men are the barometer for they could do it, we could do it too. Like, we should actually think opposite of that, but okay. Younger, older, whatever. But then, you know, but those decades apart thing, they mean something. You know, I don't care how mature the person is for their age. They're still not your age. Right? I don't care how mature a 30-year-old is. They're not a 40-year-old. Right?
I don't think that this was about that, about having a relationship with someone or an entanglement with someone that was to grow old with you, to nurture you, to get to grow with, to build with, to.
Oh, this definitely wasn't that.
No.
And I'm not even, you know, and
so he was legal. I ain't mad because he was legal and he needed healing. He needed healing, she said. He came to them ill. And so they built it. Now, look, this is her side of the story. I wasn't there. So she said that, and we'll agree that he came to their family and he was ill and he needed some healing. You know, somebody said that Jada got some healing powers in the coochie. Now, that's what I heard. You know, that's what I heard. And he was healed. And it got entangled somehow.
First of all, let me just go here because my social work all the way out. Okay. And again, I'm gonna take it off Will and Jada.
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna take it off them for a second. And to say this. I'm gonna say this to say this, okay? First of all, the idea of that is so ego-based, it's ridiculous, period. First of all, if you're knowing anything, and I think there was an issue with addiction. And
I didn't know that.
Anybody that knows, yeah. And an addiction on more than one person, but I'll just keep it on the one that
if it was addiction, then that's not healing.
Well, put it like it was addiction because they openly admitted that he was strung out on some kind of whatever. But at the end of the day, he was broken and needed, you know, support. And support is not healing. Support is support. And I need to get these God complexes off of folk that are preying on other folk, you know, because that was not, first of all, anybody that knows the first step knows that the person has to want to change themselves. Now you can connect them to resources, but you're not doing no damn healing. You're not. The person is electing to follow a process that is going to assist them in their wellness. You can be support, you can be a cheerleader, you can be a lot of things. You're not the healer in that process. You're not. You know, you are the connector of resources that are already out there, because I doubt that you create anything new, you know, and maybe you gave a coin or two to give access to something that could clean the young man up. But that wasn't, what were you doing? Like, seriously? You know, and you assisted in that? That shit was so ego-based. I was just like, yo, are you serious with this right now? You felt you needed to feel good. So, you know, I know many people that, you know, information is what it is. If it's going to work for you, it can work for others. And quite frankly, it's supposed to be given away. You know, many times have I given resources to people and not one of them in no area was it my coochie. Promise you. So I don't know. That was just, to me, you know, I'm where part of me was like, okay, all right, so now you have to talk about it because this young man has put your shit out there in a way that really is disrespectful to you and your family, but you did it already, and y'all therapized that already. So that's between you and your husband. Ain't got nothing to do with that. But that other piece, that that would be good doer piece from your son's friend or your daughter's friend, and then you got your evolved ass out there healing. That sounds like a serious ego-based situation, and it just wasn't cool. It just wasn't cool to hear. You help somebody. How do you help somebody and then you become entangled? That's some bullshit. And I'm not saying it's bullshit because it clearly happened, but I'm just saying, wow, that's some predatory shit. Because I mean, there's the power paradigm is not there. But clearly on an emotional page, not a broken page, it was. So you decide to indulge us and bring yourself to the table for those who were interested, and I'm not going to front. I did look at it because I was just trying to figure out, like, what is all this? Why is all this? And, whether it was 4 years ago or 2 days ago, it's really interesting that it even had to come to that, because it's messy, and that's what millennials do. And no disrespect to millennials, love them, but the reality is that they live in an era that's different from ours, where social media and transparency and all those good receipts are part of their culture. So I don't know how long you thought you was gonna get away with that not being public, if you even thought about it that way. But whatever they went through as a family, I pray there's healing on both sides. But I just know the damage control should have had some damage control. That shit was horrible. Anyway, we 0 for 3 with the women of a certain age that you end up getting dragged. You get dragged by the folks you're picking up.
When you say 0 for 3, who's the other two?
I'm not gonna open that bag.
Well, you did.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There was
public. Is it public already? And I just don't know. See, I knew about Jada, and like I said, give me credit for that.
It's public already, but I gotta.
Hey, I don't know nothing. I don't know nobody. I just think I do.
I just, about the Demi and Ashton story.
Well, that's old. That's
old.
It's like
no, that's definitely old. But the
decades old.
But the fundamentals and how you're going to end up.
I don't think that was about her killing him. She was just trying to get laid by a young boy.
And is there any difference here?
Well, I think I do think that Demi and Ashton ended up in a long-term relationship, and whether or not she started out with him because she was upset about her situation with Bruce. Most people, not most people, but a lot of people end up going from one relationship to another. And it's quite possible that, for the female to feel like, oh, well, let me show you. And then there's a young man that's interested and blah, 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 and so forth. And it goes on. I have no idea how that works, but whatever, they got it on. But with Ashton and Demi, they lasted years, actually. So excuse me?
How'd they end? Bang? With a bang or a boom?
Oh, I don't even remember. I don't remember, but I know that they were together for several years. And I was wondering, well, let me not say that. See, I'll tell you why I didn't say what I was going to say. Later on, ask me, because it's good for a chuckle as to why I didn't say what I said. I don't want to do what I was about to do. And I will tell you about it later. God bless everybody. We're all beautiful children.
Stepchildren your age. You just can't have stepchildren.
Well, I thought about that's a part of it. That's a part of what I was going to say. Remember Mike, who the comedian who I had on the show talked about that stepman.
Yeah, sure.
You know, I mean, it happens. It happens, you know. So that's that. But I think that Jada was clearly in pain when she started dating this guy or getting entangled with this guy. He was definitely suffering, and they fell into it. And you know, she wasn't with Will at the time. Apparently they had split, and she was in her feelings about it, according to her and according to him. I don't know. Look,
can I say this about? I'll speak as a married person on this one. It's a little different when you're married than when you. And this is one little tiny difference. You're either married or you're not. You know, and there's a beat that they created: legal separation. A legal separation, which means that it is recognized in whatever it is. And I bet you would change whatever the covenants of the definition of marriage is. You would, you know, that doesn't surprise me at all, you know. But you're either married or you're not. So if they weren't divorced, then they weren't broke. You know, you break up with your boyfriend or your girlfriend. You don't break up with your husband. You divorce your husband. You legally separate from your husband. Like, let's not play semantics. You know?
Okay. Well, listening to what they said about their marriage is that they were through with, they thought at that time that they were through with each other, and for whatever reason. And I, you know, the only thing about this that bothers me, to be honest, because and what you're saying about the predatory piece of it, where she's older, where he was, if he was in a 12-step program, and clearly if he was at the very beginning of it, that's just, you just don't do that. You just don't do that. But I don't think that everybody understands that. And hurt people all the time in different ways, you know. So I'm just going to leave that there, but I can't judge where she was emotionally at that time
on the floor,
because right, when Will says, well, now I got to get you back for that, and he keys with him and says, yeah, no, I think you got me back a lot. Like, in other words, he wasn't a saint, and he did a little stepping of his own. And what people are saying, or what I have seen, and you know, I don't see much because I don't be looking for gossip and stuff like that. But you know, people are mad at Jada right now for this. And not because he was young, and not because he was, you know, recovering from an addiction, but because she stepped out on Will, and it's public, and they took it to the table. Well, guess what? That's not my business. That's between them two, and he seemed fine with it because he done did something too. It's just not public because but Will didn't put his stuff on the red table.
And nor did whoever he doing it with. Didn't put it on.
And that's what happens when you hurt. You don't make good decisions. You don't make good choices. Young people. What I saw somebody, I think it was I can't think of a name right now. But anyway, this the comedian, anyway, she said she was in girls trip with Jada and Queen Latifah, the comedian. Anyway.
Oh, Tiffany Haddish.
Yes. Who I love, Tiffany. I was either reading her story or whatever it was. Anyway, she said that she was going to go to a party at Queen Latifah's home. And she wanted to bring someone with her, a guest. And Queen Latifah asked her, well, you can bring the person, but do they have something to lose? And she said, well, what do you mean? She said, do they, read my lips, do they have something to lose? Because if they don't have anything to lose, they cannot come to my house. Immediately that made sense to me. I don't think young Augie had anything to lose by coming out and saying what he said. So, cougars and wrongdoers, do not heal with the coochie anyone who has nothing to lose.
And that speaks to, and amen to your point. And thank you for bringing that up. I think I heard Tiffany's interview where she spoke about that, and that also has to do with the power dynamic. Like, because you're gonna lose that one. I don't care. You're gonna take that L. And you're gonna sit your ass down somewhere, hopefully, and get some healing, because that's just not, that's just not it. But enough of them.
Yeah, we spent a minute on that.
Yeah.
Although I think we both weren't really looking to go there. But you know what? Like Pop said, it's a good moment.
Here's to entanglement.
I just had to do that. Y'all know the rest of it.
So question. So what do you think about Kanye running for president? Because he filed already, said they filed.
I think we need to ignore his ass. I really think that's what I think. I think because Chance the Rapper said, well, what's the difference between him and Joe Biden running? You know what? Let's stop. Stop it right there. Stop it. There's a big difference. Number one,
well, see, that's what you're comparing it to Joe Biden, though. But see, I understand why Kanye's running. If I could be devil's advocate just a bit.
All right.
Trump has made it possible for my 4-year-old niece to run. Because the mystique is gone. The fourth wall is broken. There's no level of this is like president for dummies right now. So yeah, why not Kanye if compared to Trump, but I don't like the idea that he could split a population of votes perhaps, but he did file. He filed with the Federal Election Commission. He did the first step.
This is not the time for Kanye's. Somebody please pass him the whatever it is that he needs to be whole. This is just not the time. And even if he is whole and he believes that, he wants to be the president, to what end? For what? To heal the nation or to get the black vote away from Biden? Why is he doing this? Why? It's not to get the Trumpy vote from Trump. Because that won't happen.
I just wish Joe Biden was. Anybody is better than Trump, but that's what that's what I feel like, though. I feel like Joe Biden hasn't drilled down with a contingency of black folk about what needs to be done to get rid of some of this systemic stuff, get us back. And I'm not saying we won't do the work. What I'm saying is that I just haven't gotten a concrete. Trump needs to go, listen, and I'm absolutely voting for Biden as a candidate. That being said, I just don't think that, I don't want to be tokenized either. I want a concrete plan, I want a concrete plan about shit exists, and dismantling some of this stuff that exists. And I'm talking in the system, like from the prison pipeline to the economic situations. It's just so much, and I'd like to hear from him on specifically those points, and I haven't yet.
I feel you, and I feel your passion about it. I know. Look, sister, I feel you. I feel the heat, almost like Shaka Khan, but she's more fiery in a different kind of way. But I feel you. I want you to know I feel you. I'm in this space of first things first, let's get rid of Trump. And then we can step on Joe Biden's neck. But let's get rid of Trump. Let's just move this shit along, because we won't be able to do anything, get anywhere near any kind of anything that we want, that we need, that we deserve. I'm talking about basic human respect. I'm talking about just decent air to breathe. You know, could we at least, if you don't want to change the system, could you at least shut down this fucking virus? Could you do something? Could you do something? Could you do something?
Well, they're not in the rush to do that because Bill Gates is not ready yet with what they're going to do to track and change. Basically, the virus has to exist so that they can, in my opinion, do a bit of a disclaimer there, so that the virus has to exist so that they can use it so much of a distraction so they can do what they're doing over this side, which is changing the country's economy. And it's all going digital. They're going to crash this dollar game we're playing. And it's to
Bitcoin.
It's going to be currency, baby. Digital currency. Get ready.
I read something today that Bill Gates, as well as quite a few other Twitter accounts and other accounts, social media accounts, were spammed or whatever. And yeah, no, as well as Obama's and stuff, and everybody's working on it, that they're all claiming that they absolutely did not send out those tweets or those messages that were there. Maybe it's something that secretly got out based on your facial expression and your lack of belief that they were hijacked. But that's what they're saying now. We'll see. We shall, like my grandmother always says, we shall see what we shall see.
Yeah.
So if they want to do that, that's one thing. But I wholeheartedly believe that if Biden is elected, that he will tackle this disease. I believe that. So,
Democrat, Republican, same bird, just different arms, and it's white power on white power. And quite frankly, I'll do anything, including whatever it takes to get Trump out, because it's clear where we're headed. But he did he start it or did he activate it? Because he activated something that we've all known for years. We've been true. We are exhaling at this point.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about Dumb Donald. He
started or do what? Say it again.
And he stirs the pot, but the soup was already there. The systems in soup he didn't create. He's not that smart.
Yeah, this dude, man.
He just fans the flames of it, and on a public level, and at a level where he's supposed to be. You just don't get to sit in the seat for the country. But I don't know too many people other than Obama and maybe JFK that sat in that seat in my lifetime. Well, JFK was not my lifetime. Let me be clear, but that sat in that seat that had the for and by the people in mind.
I don't really remember much, but I was alive during the Carter era.
Yeah.
And, kids tend to be able to feel you. Like they know this is not a nice person. I don't like Mr. Such and such. Why? Because he don't make my heart happy. Like that little girl said on that video, I can never get over. I love that little girl. She was like a little 3-year-old or 4-year-old. And mommy was asking, did Auntie Peggy, I'm just saying Peggy because it's the first name that dropped into my mind. Auntie Peggy do something to you? No. Well, why didn't you say hi to her? You never say hi to her in the morning. Why? because she don't make my heart happy. Little girl was like, I'm not giving her none of my attention because she don't make my heart smile.
And there it is, attention and time. That
exactly.
is
But there was something about, and I was a little kid, but there was something about Jimmy Carter that made my heart smile. And when you look at this man as a 90 some odd year old, and he's out there digging ditches and trying to help the poor, and he's out there doing shit like that. That's that little child seeing something in that man. Now, it was in the early 70s, so it was a different time. And you know, it's so funny the way we get stuck in these expectations of our job. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes, and I remember being like maybe young in my job, maybe the first year or so in my job, first 2 years maybe, I had to do something, and you know what I do, you know very damn well what I do, but I had to do something because I was ordered to do it, and I disagreed with the decision to do that. I didn't think that those the powers that are invested in me through my job, that the situation rose to that level, and yet I was ordered to do it. And to this day, I still stand by what I said to my supervisor, that I don't think this is the right thing to do.
Been there.
And yet I had to do it. And so there are certain people in politics who are now in politics who served in a different capacity, I'll say. And because of their job, they had to do certain things. And was it out of being evil, spiteful, or not caring? Or is it because this is my job and I have to do my job? You know what I'm saying? It's hard. You know, sometimes, and now that I'm in a different position, I look at things differently, and I make those decisions to a different, you know what I'm saying? And so I can be more sensitive and more caring, as opposed to just being the soldier carrying out the order. I'm more like a captain giving the order. But even with that, there's still levels above me. And so I have to do what I know. If I choose to do something opposite what I know they would have me do, I need to have a damn good explanation for it. There's accountability.
Yeah, I've been at crossroads like that in businesses that weren't mine, you know, and I've also apologized for what I was not able to do, you know. You just triggered a thought where I just actually had to say, well, no, I think I'm going to take whatever comes with that, you know, because there's certain things, like I do have a line, and sometimes, you know, there's an awful lot of fall guys and girls that end up in situations, and, you know, and I'm grateful for the fact that at the time it didn't cost me the risk of whatever, but I absolutely remembered what that no felt like in my gut.
Right.
And, you know, and I absolutely remember thinking, okay, how many months do I need to, I remember being in that situation, and not cool, you know, and what it was so egregious that I couldn't even bring myself to, I was like, are you serious? Like, this has got to be a joke. Like, you expect any grown thinking person to respond this way. Surely you do. You know?
Right. Yeah. You know what you're going to do. But I know this. I have so much hope. I am so encouraged by our young people. This generation of young people is kicking ass. Okay?
Yeah.
And so if when, I'm going to say when, because I'm going to claim it, when Joe Biden wins this election, he needs to do what he needs to do, or else he will be out in 4 years. Because this generation is not going to allow him to sit there for 8 years.
No.
And not do, because I believe that he will have something that Obama didn't have. He's going to have the House Democrat and the Senate Democrat. So the things that he wants to do, he should be able to do.
Because of the Democrats? You don't think
yes, because if you are the president of the United States and your party is not in control of the Senate and the House, then you have to fight the opposing party in order to get those laws passed. Everything that Obama tried to do, the Republicans tried to shut him down, including they prevented him from executing his right as the president to seat the Supreme Court justice.
Yeah. Let me ask a question, though, Jim. Let me ask a question. Do you honestly believe that there's nobody in the Republican Party that can work with the Democratic Party?
I think that the current Republican Party has completely soiled their pants in public and kissed Donald Trump's orange booty. And therefore, I cannot trust them. Do you know, and I'm sure you know, but
nobody?
Not one of them. Not a one, except maybe Mitt Romney, because he's the only one that's been speaking out and voted to impeach him. He's the only one out of all of the Republicans.
Well, I wish they'd given his niece Mary a vote, because she certainly did say for him to resign. Now, didn't she?
Yeah, but you know, Mary, she's not a politician, and that's nice.
I'd vote for her based on
that.
Yeah,
but that's nice that she did that. And it, for me, honestly, it's more about the policies, the people, the Constitution, and the country than the party. You know what I'm saying? I am definitely one of those people that's country over party. And let me tell you something. I want everybody to know that if Obama had gone into the White House and done half the shit that Trump is doing, and let's just say he had a Democratic House and Senate that allowed him to do that stuff, I would be so ashamed, so embarrassed. This is people. Putin has is publicly playing our president as a puppet.
Well, that ain't hard to do.
I get that, but we should be ashamed as Americans. Like, if this was, look, you know what? Let me do this. Let me do this, and let me say this: that there's so much that I want to unwrap, but that's why
glad we got Nathan on the show today. I really
do. And Mitch McConnell, Moscow Mitch. Oh my God. Let me tell you. Let me just say, I'm encouraged that this generation is moving the way that they're moving. They're not going to let anyone sit in that office and just screw us all over and be criminal. He's like it's amazing. It's amazing the shit that he's gotten away with. Speaking of our generation, and really as an introduction to our special guest today, I just want to play this video that actually one of your friends is in. All right. She's like, oh shit, why she doing this stuff? See, you got to start talking to me before the show to see what I'm up to. because I know I made you nervous. But I'm always on my game. I'm always on my shiznit.
Okay. All right. Oh God.
That's right.
Well, you know what? Everybody that's my friend already knows. Even if we have opposing thoughts on things, what my thoughts are. So. You gonna bring it out. We're gonna bring it out. But let's do this so we can bring Nathan on, okay? And I just want to say to everybody who listens to the show that this particular clip that I'm gonna show you, it really touched me. The other day I had posted about Sandra Bland, because that particular murder hit me in a particular way. It hurt me to my heart to watch the video and then to see the postmortem photo of her that they tried to play off as if that was her mugshot. I mean, the woman was clearly already gone. There was no life in that picture. And those guys got away with it. They need to reopen that case. It hurts me to my heart that we didn't move then the way we're moving now. And for so many others, but something about Sandra Bland, man. So this particular clip right here, it hit me in a particular way. So I'm gonna play this, and then I'm gonna bring on our special guest. All right.
It's time, y'all. It's time. It's this thing that I'm holding in my hand, this telephone, this camera. It is quite powerful. Social media is powerful. We can do something with this. If we want to change, we can really, truly make it happen. We sit out here and talk about, oh, we need the next so-and-so and this and that. No, you don't. No, you don't. Start in your own home. Start with you.
Dark brown shade of my skin only adds color to my tears that splash against my hollow bones, that rocks my soul. Looking back over my false dreams that I once knew, wonder why my dreams never came true. Is it because I'm black? Somebody tell me, what can I do? Oh, something's holding me back. I wonder, is it because I'm black? It is wonderful pity. I was raised in a ghetto city. Mama, she worked so hard to earn every penny. Oh, Lord, something holding me back. Is it because I'm black? Like a child stealing his first piece of candy and got caught. People around life's corner, but somewhere I got lost. Something is holding me back. I wonder, is it because I'm black? Somebody tell me, what can I do? Will I survive? Or will I die? Oh, it keeps on holding me back. Is it because I'm black?
Dark brown shades of my skin only add color to my tears. Oh, that splash against my hollow bone that rocks my soul. Oh Lord, looking back over false dreams that I once knew, wondering why my dreams never came true. Is it because I'm black? Somebody tell me, what
can I do? Oh, something is holding me back. Is it because I'm black? Yeah.
Oh, something's holding me back. I wonder, is it because I'm black? Whoa, something is holding me back. Is it because I'm black? Oh, something is holding me back. Is it because I'm black? Oh, it keeps on holding me back. Is it because I'm black?
It's time, y'all. It's time.
Ladies and gentlemen, lawyer, actor, activist, director, writer. What don't you do, Nathan?
I cannot sing.
But you have such a velvety voice. What is that?
It has baffled people since I was younger. They expect me to be able to sing, and I cannot sing. I would love to sing, but I cannot. And that's so appropriate because that is a bunch of great singers in that video. I've never seen that. Is that new?
You know what? It's new to me because I saw it, I think, yesterday for the first time, and I was like, oh no, this is a great introduction for Nathan, this song.
Yeah, I was fighting back the tears because they weren't sad tears though. Honestly, they were. I'm happy about this time. I know what struggle leads to, and I know what everyone. This moment feels different. It doesn't feel like the other moments. It feels like we are pushing and progressing, and I don't think, like you were just saying, right towards the end before you opened the video, this generation is not taking no for an answer. They are holding everybody's feet to the fire, and I'm just so proud. I'm just so proud of them. And I know it seems chaotic and turmoil or whatever, but that usually comes before the growth, right? Always one of my favorite my favorite Nathanisms, for lack of a better word, is your hair itches before it grows, and
Come on now.
and this is a growth period. So I almost was going to be crying when you guys came in, and I was like, no, you cannot be in tears. Anyway, hey y'all.
You could be whatever you want to be, and however it looks, it can't be any worse than the mess that's already here. So
Right.
mess begets mess. So,
Yes.
Hey, Nathan.
It's so good to see you all.
Good to see you. How are you doing in this climate? How are you?
I am doing so. I have two answers to that question.
Okay.
Personally, creatively, I'm doing amazing. I like to be alone anyway. And I have the blessing of having my mom quarantined with me and my 1-year-old puppy. So I'm not totally alone. But I have been churning out work at a speed and a rate that I normally have not been able to do because I was having to go here. Y'all know how it is. You have schedules, right? So I've liked that part. I get to spend an entire hour every day in meditation and in prayer and reading positive affirmations and reading about the moon and the planets and all of that stuff. And that has kept me sane during this time, just being able to devote an entire hour at the beginning of my morning before I do anything to do that. So personally, Nathan is great. But like you said, there are moments that I really get the totality of what's going on, and it gets heavy on me. And because I think you couldn't be human and not be affected by what all of this going on. But I can say it was heavier before the protests started for me, though, because it just seemed burdensome. You know what I mean? It just seemed like we were just kind of trapped. And then we started the protests started happening, and we started having conversations that I don't in my 44 years don't remember having on such a wide scale and so many different people having these conversations. And my mom is one of those moms that, when I was growing up, I had the little Black Kings, Black Kings and Queens book, the Black Inventors, those little, y'all remember those little books?
Yes.
I had all of that. And I felt like, I was really well educated. I thought I was really well educated on our history, and I'm learning stuff like the ice cream truck song. I had no idea. I'm like, okay, I'm never going to unhear that now.
Yeah.
But we're being educated on our history, not just us, but the entire globe. And if I feel the world unity, my friends that live in Australia, my friends that live in South Africa, my friends that live in France are always sending me notes about that they're with us and they're protesting over there too. So I'm encouraged at the same time. So it's that crazy moment where it's all these emotions. And I don't think we've ever been here before, but so.
Thank you for talking about wellness and what you do, because I think that, every show that we do, we are making it our business to put that out there and how important wellness is, that you have your own wellness regimen, that you do or something. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be this big insurmountable thing, but we just have to have some element of wellness and stillness because stuff is moving laser speed. And each day, we were speaking earlier, we're talking about even how the news is disseminated. I'm from I remember Walter Cronkite and Barbara Walters and, some of the old vets that were very, very P&G in their tone. And, and I'm so appreciating Don Lemon's delivery these days. And
yes,
and once upon a time, I went from thinking Don was crazy to loving him.
Man, but me too. I didn't think Don rolled for us like that.
Listen, so much so I ran into him and was really, I ran down on him personally. I was like, look, Don, it was in a public place. We just had to have a conversation, but I am just super proud of, just the way he is handling that orange guy, because it's just, I remember watching something and he was just like, he broke the fourth wall talking to this man. Yeah. And come on, our news never did that before.
No,
we never did that. We're at a place where it's just, I don't even know what to say. But
well, if you're anything like me, there are many days that I wake up and I'm like, I still cannot believe you're president. Like I'm waiting to wake up from this bad nightmare, and then we are almost 4 years later, and I can't. I said this on Twitter or something. I said, I can't imagine anyone that wants to stay in this chaos because we're in chaos right now.
Yeah,
there is, and it's almost like we are numb to it because there is this man just pardoned his crook friend, like in the middle of his presidency, not at the end, like most of the presidents. Most presidents wait to the end of their presidency. They pardon their friend. That the pardoning of friends and allies is actually not new,
right?
But in the middle of your presidency and
right before an election,
that tells you he could care less. He don't give a F about us. He thinks he can do anything. And that is, I cannot imagine what 4 more years will be like with him. And I hope I don't have to.
Well, yeah, I'm going to do everything in my power not to have to, one way or the other.
Yep, me too.
No, man, he's got it.
And with the Senate, I mean, come on.
Mitch McConnell.
Yes, Mitch. Hello. Yes.
Yeah. It's so funny. His name, rhymes with.
It's the perfect name for a traitor.
Yeah. Real talk.
Then, but you know what? This is petty. This petty as hell. But my consolation prize is that they all look horrible. They all look horrible. Like if you had to look in that, like you guys are beautiful. You're beautiful. And if you had to look at Mitch McConnell in the mirror every day, you'd probably be a jerk off too.
No, my God.
You know,
Thank you.
and then I just saw on Twitter these pictures of Donald Trump's parents. And I'm not usually that petty about things like people's looks or whatever, but they deserve all of it. And they deserve all of it. And his parents look like the Crypt Keepers. And I was like, I mean, no wonder he came out like this, you know, no wonder.
Yeah, no, he was seriously somebody that had real attention deficit disorders and so many other clear disorders. And now that, you know, I don't know. I mean, if Biden weren't running, I would vote for Kanye because it just, you know, what do we have to lose? You know,
I would definitely not vote. I would never cast a vote for Donald Trump. I would vote for Kermit the Frog before I would vote for Donald Trump. And you know, my evolution towards him, I've had an evolution towards Donald Trump. I started off really like, I literally, November 9th, 2016, I got a bottle of Tito's. I locked my door. I shut all the blinds. I turned off my phone, and I literally wept all day because I knew, I could feel in my spirit. I'm a Pisces, and you know, we got some time. Yeah, and I could feel in my spirit it was going to be a deadly disaster.
Yeah.
And then I said to myself, well, I have to surrender to what is. And then I started trying to be, you know, elevated around him, and I actually, like Nancy Pelosi said, I literally started praying for him because I thought about, you know, people like that usually, aside from any mental disorder that he might have, you know, you can definitely tell he's never been loved in his life. Mm-hmm. You know, his parents didn't love him. His family didn't love him. His wives only loved his money. So the only thing that he's ever had of value in his life is money and power. And it's why he clings to it so much. And it's why he's an egomaniac. And it's why he's so hungry for more money and more power, because that's the only way he's been able to value himself. He don't love himself. He's miserable. And so for a while, I had some compassion. Mm-hmm. Now I just want him gone.
Mm-hmm. You got to break down that whole psychosocial.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And that you are not wrong.
I just want to finish cleaning up Epstein's mess because Trump will be swept up in that too. And we just need to have him gone, you know, completely across the board.
And I'm like, I hope they don't kill that lady.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Gillibrand or whatever that lady's name is. Mm-hmm. I hope they don't kill her. The one that they just put in jail.
Oh.
What's his name?
Yeah, Yolanda. Yeah, whatever her name is.
Yeah, whatever her name is. Shit.
Well, the crazy thing is that you could, if you just listed out all of the scandals that have happened since 2016. I mean, starting with, like, that's all that it would have had to happen for me is to know that Russia interfered. Remember when Russia was not, like, it's so crazy to me. Republicans are such hypocrites because, you know, they're supposed to be the family party. Donald Trump is not a family man. No. They're the party of moral values and Christianity, right? Donald Trump is none of that. And, you know, and then, you know, of a conservative government, you know, we have our deficit, and it's soaring, you know, and it's so funny how we find money for stuff, right? But Flint still has dirty drinking water.
Come on, somebody. Come on.
We have 70,000 homeless people in the county of Los Angeles, but we can find $6 trillion to give to corporations. And, you know, that's why, you know, I was looking to see what kind of money. I was like, this is my money anyway. So let me figure out how my business can get some of this money. So,
and then he sent a letter telling y'all, you know, how wonderful it was that he's sending this money. This ain't his money. This was our money to begin with.
Wait a minute, he held up. See, this is the crazy thing, because if you just start talking, it's thing after thing after thing. He held up the checks so that he could have his signature on it, like he owned the United States.
Yeah, it's crazy, Nathan. When he first got elected, like you said, you know, from the very beginning, and I at that time became like a magnet to everything Rachel Maddow. Like I just started, because she's like this professor and she's teaching you. She teaches it, right? She's not only showing you what's going on now, but how it relates to prior administrations, how it why the law is the law. Every day it was something new. He broke the law or did some kind of crazy something to hurt people. Just about every day he was breaking the law. It was but you knew that something bad was going to happen. Something big and bad was going to happen. I thought in my, naivete and, my new learning that it was going to be something with Russia. Like he was going to give them the secret and push the button, and United States was just going to be wiped off the. I thought it was something like that, because the whole Putin party of Republicans and all of this stuff, and the NRA and the money being funneled in. I mean, I learned so much during those first couple of years that I was on pins and needles every day. Like, what's getting ready to happen? I don't know. But now I feel like, and tell me if I'm just a little paranoid, what you think about this. This virus, like, they're intentionally allowing, well, we know that they're intentionally allowing Americans to die. But some kind of way, I feel like this is him in cahoots with Putin. Like, is this like a crazy theory?
I don't think so. First of all, how many movies have we seen about past, administrations where, the Nixon stuff comes out? And, first of all, I have a little bit of distrust of government in general, just because all the books I've read and stuff, and they just do, governments they stay in power by manipulating people, right? And they don't stay in power by telling the truth and being open and doing what's best for the citizenry. They stay in power by manipulating us, right? So if you have somebody like a Donald Trump and his cronies and Moscow Mitch and all of them, not only would I not put it past them, I'm pretty sure you are onto something, because think about who is it killing? Who is this virus killing? It's killing Black and brown people disproportionately, right? And so if you're dead, you can't vote.
Right. Right.
And it's killing older Black and brown people who, in terms of proportions, vote far more than younger people. We know young people will go out, and that's what I hope translates in this movement.
Yes.
We know that they will go out to rallies and stuff like that. But when it comes time to the actual day, it's older people that you can count on are going to vote. But it's older people that are dying disproportionately is older Black and brown people. And I don't think that was lost on them once they started finding out those numbers. Actually, I was talking with my friend, y'all know Emil Wilbekin, and I'm on the board of Native Son, and they sent out this petition for with Color of Change to get more information about Black and brown people of color, and our rates and the infection rates. And I was like, I don't want to support that. Because the more they know that it's hurting us only, then the less they're going to do. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But so I don't think that you're being paranoid. I think that is not only plausible, it's probably factual.
Yeah, I mean, we have it in ourselves not to trust anything the government wants to try, sample, anything that they want to give us first. That's going to be a hard one. Yeah, it's going to be a hard one.
They're not trying to do us any favors.
No, they want to use us as lab mice.
Yeah, no. You said you were working on some stuff. Now you've always been proactive, and even though we don't talk, Nathan, I see what you're doing out there in these streets.
I see you too.
So, you had an amazing piece that I saw that had to do with, well, your art reflects real life issues in the world, and you're leaving your digital, your body of work as a footprint. Let me just say that. So anything you're working on that reflects what's going on right now, like,
So my current film that's on tour right now, so to speak. We were on tour really hardcore in February, and then COVID came. It's called Burden, and it directly deals with racial bias and racial equity and discrimination. And I thought of that film. It's so funny. One of my executive producers, D'Angelo, said I must be in line with the Orishas or something, because I'm always thinking of creating things that are timely. So it was April 2018. If you remember, I was actually on tour for my film 90 Days, which was about HIV and AIDS in the heterosexual African-American community, because I realized no one was talking to Black women about HIV and AIDS. And Black women, disproportionately are infected and affected by HIV and AIDS. And for me, that's important because Black women are the core of our community. I don't care what anybody says. It is the truth. Black women are the core of our community. And we need to pay more attention to Black women and Black women's issues and voices and all of that. But that's a whole nother soapbox. In April 2018, I was in a hotel on tour for 90 days, and that incident happened with the two gentlemen in the Starbucks in Philadelphia. And they were arrested for just going there for a meeting. And if you remember that time, if you can recall that time, it was the Beckys with the phone and calling the kids who were selling water. Then, unfortunately, that deadly moment where the cop went into that man's house. She said she thought it was her house.
Yeah, like.
And so all of that was happening. And so I was angry and I was upset and I was pissed. And the best way I know how to channel my anger is to create. And so I came up with this film Burden, because I also know and realize, and we're understanding this now 2 years later, that we make assumptions that people know what we go through. And I think that is a bad assumption, because so I wanted to create a film that was walking a mile, a day in the life of a Black man, and all of the macro and micro aggressions that we encounter on a daily basis. And so I came up with the film in April. I think I wrote it in June, and then we shot it last February in 2019, and then it debuted at the American Black Film Festival last July. I had no idea we'd be in the middle of a pandemic and in the middle of another pandemic in terms of racial equity and equality. And so that film speaks directly to what we're doing. And it just, it's a good thing for me as a creator, because we've been able to share it virtually with corporations, Fortune 500 companies, law firms, community organizations, because we developed a curriculum around the film that deals with blind spots, that deals with bias, that deals with discrimination, and that just deals with how do you react and interact with someone who shows up with all of this stuff to work. And we couldn't have had better timing. And I guess I just have to thank God for giving me the vision. So that my current film that's done and that's out, it deals with this. I just finished a pilot not too long ago. It's actually a puppet is a star of it. Her name is Anemone. She's got her own little Instagram page. I did it with master puppeteer Kevin Clash, who was Elmo for many, many, many years, created Elmo. And he was the baby dinosaur in Dinosaurs. He's amazing. I think he's got 29 Emmys. Because one day I was counting, I was like, he was like, oh, I've got 29, but I gave some of them away. But she's a puppet living in the human world, but we deal with ageism and sexism and colorism in entertainment. And so we do it through the lens of a puppet. And it makes it funny, but it also, because I don't like my films or projects to be heavy-handed. I don't want it to be a message. I wanted to have a spoonful of sugar because people digest that better. And so do it through humor or whatever. So that definitely is dealing with that. And then I have another project that I'm finishing now that deals with millennials turning 40 and what that means for their generation. And I'm just slightly outside of it. It's a different 40, in many ways it's a great different 40, and in many ways it's not, So I try to always deal with some kind of social justice, social life issue, but in a fun, entertaining way.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Go ahead, Beck.
no, say what you were going to say. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying we had a whole conversation about the age thing and the development of trying to stay in sync with your developmental milestones so that you don't get caught up in any entanglements. We just had a whole conversation,
Exactly.
because I ain't going back.
But what I wanted to before we get entangled,
okay.
I just wanted to go back to the film Burden, because I was looking at a clip and I thought it would be really nice to be able to share a piece of that with the audience, if that's okay with you.
That's great. Yeah.
All right. So here's Burden. Here's a piece of it, or Nathan speaking about it.
Once again, the fatal shootings south of the border have raised questions about the relationship officers have with the people they are policing, especially white cops in black communities.
What's your name?
Why do you need to know my name? Why are you stopping me, actually?
Because we're looking to speak to you.
I don't want to be spoken to.
What's up? What's happening?
Yeah, and illegally selling water without a permit?
A woman dubbed Barbecue Becky called police to report an African-American man grilling in an area where it wasn't allowed.
Hi, it's Nathan Hale Williams, and I am the writer-director of the new film Burden. Burden tells the story of Bennett Lewis, a highly successful, highly motivated, highly educated family man who, despite all of his success, still has to deal with the perils of being a black man in America. Aristotle once said that you don't change people's mind through intellect, you have to do it through emotion. And so this is my way of giving back to the fight. I think that film has a unique ability to change people's perceptions of things that we go through. So I use film, just as I did with my film 90 Days, as my form of activism and advocacy. You have the big news stories, the police brutality, police killings, you have the media stories like Starbucks. But we as black men deal with this every day of our lives. There's not one black person or black man particularly that has read the script that didn't come away saying, me too, this happened to me. I can't tell you how many times this happens. And so this is my take on what it is like to have 12 hours in the day of living while black in America. I know that we can change people's minds and perceptions, and more than anything, we can empower ourselves to live fully and live without the burden that we deal with every day. And then we want to take it to the community because we want to impact how people see this social justice issue of discrimination from an entertainment, artistic point of view. Then after that, we will develop diversity and inclusion curricula that uses the film as a centerpiece to better educate companies, corporations, individuals in general about what it means to be black and brown in America.
We need you to help us make this film. It's not easy to tell social justice stories in Hollywood, and that's why we need the community to step up and step to the plate and help us raise the money to make the film. We want you to be a part of this because we want you to be a part of this movement. My burden is our burden.
Burden the film. Yes.
Y'all are intent on making me cry. I did cry. Let me tell you why I cried. First of all, God is good. And I made that video pitch in 2018. And it's a full circle moment. And that's why I'm crying is that, the film is now made and we are doing exactly. So don't donate, y'all. Don't go to the GoFundMe. The film is already done.
Okay.
It was a full circle moment. Just in full disclosure, what I spent the day doing was my corporate taxes and doing the taxes for, preparing the documents for the accountant to do for a burden. And we raised the money. The community stepped up, and we had investors from the community, and we not only raised the money, the full budget, but we also I'm going to be able to cut my investors a check. You know what I mean? And as an independent filmmaker, and that being a short film, being able to return money to people who believed in you is just a miracle to me, to be able to have a concept and an idea and then put out a call and then have people answer the call. So a shout out to everyone who invested, who donated to our GoFundMe, and to my wonderful executive producers, Richard E. Pelzer II, James Cole Jr., and D'Angelo Thompson. Y'all worked overtime, and it's so weird that you just showed that, and I just literally spent the day getting that stuff in order, and now we're in the middle of doing the activism with the film. So I'm just grateful.
Oh, wow. Amazing. I did see 90 Days, and I was blown away by that, your approach on it. I did a lot of work in the AIDS community, particularly when they goes back to GMHC stuff. So to see a piece of art that didn't do the belaboring of the point at this point, when I saw it, I said, oh, nice, because I thought I'd seen everything that I could possibly see, on it. And when I saw 90 Days, I was like, I loved your approach with it, and I don't doubt that this will be any different. You got a storyteller gene, and in a way that, like you said, invites people to the table. You practicing much in the legal front? What are you doing?
Well, no, I don't really practice so much anymore. I still have, my legacy clients, like Keith Boykin. He's still a client of mine, just because he's my boyfriend for like 8 years. So of course he's still my client. But for the most part, most of my clients, I've transitioned them to other lawyers, so that I could focus solely on storytelling and creating. And I've gotten to a point in my career now that I can afford to do that. There's not a day that I don't use that law degree. And, this is my 20th year. This would have been my 20th reunion from law school.
Nice.
And, but obviously it got canceled. But I'm so glad that I went to law school. I'm so glad that I know the business side of showbiz. Vivica Fox once told me, she said, baby, this is showbiz. And the more you know about the biz, the more you get to show. Mm-hmm. And so, and I have a lawyer who's amazing, Tony Long. She's great. A Black lesbian woman, representing me, which I love. My whole team is Black. And actually all mostly Black women. Like my accountant is a Black woman, and obviously Richard Pelzer, all Black everything. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I say that to say that I don't practice so much anymore, but I do use that law degree almost every day.
Absolutely. Shout out to Keith Boykin too, because he's another one. And like I said, he's there are people that I'm fond of and may not even know, but they're the people that I'm fond of that I can that I affectionately call disruptors. And he's definitely one. You're definitely one, and you can disrupt things in various ways. Through your art, through your messaging, through just how you walk on the planet. Your own personal skin can be disruptive when you enter a room. That the conversation is going to change. I really wish you much success with the film when it comes back on tour. I want to see it. It's just one of those pieces that's necessary right now. And I'm asking all my artist friends. Like I have my god brother actually. He is based in LA and he is an artist. He does art on canvas and other methods too. Like he has spoken word pieces out and digital stuff out. But some of the pieces he's been creating lately have been like breathtaking. He has this piece, this series that he's run for a couple of years now about the Mandingo complex and how it affects America. So he literally has pictures of like male anatomy, that in a museum that was a very, very controversial piece, you know, and I always like to go if he's local to New York because he's based in LA. But if he comes to New York and he's showing the piece, I like to go because in that you watch all the people like gasp over, you know, the anatomy and what he's done with it. Like there's a piece of a burning flag that's across an erect, you know, member basically, and what it means, you know, in this country to be a Black man and what the fear-based associations to Black men, you know, are in this country. So, I mean, I know everybody is doing it right now. And I mean, you know, on a large scale, just the artists are really putting it out there on down to, like I talked this morning about Derek, D-Nice rather, and what he's doing to get us through stuff. You know, we have an innate ability as people to get through things, you know. We're not going to pull everybody through, but we have it in our core, you know, of how to move through things in a way that others do not or may not, you know. And I just want to thank you for your contribution, you know, just from me to you and from you to us, rather. Just thank you.
Thank you. That means so much to me. And like you said, resilience and persistence is in our DNA. Yeah. And we are strong and wonderful and brilliant and beautiful and complex and layered and all those things. And this is the time for the artist. You know, this is the time for, you know, forums like this, for thought thinkers and, you know, philosophers. And this is that time. This is when we have to move in and create and do things. And, you know, and I was trying to encourage people. You know, when we first got into the pandemic, I knew it was heavy, but I was like, once you get past that, use this time to create something, because if the last recession, you know, major companies that we think we take for granted now were created, Uber, Airbnb, you know, there's something about struggle that, you know, just leads to growth. You know, Marvin Sapp has this song called Close. And in the song, he says, you know, I must be close because basically everything is going crazy, going haywire. And I know that I must be close to my victory. And, you know, 2019 was that for me. You know, 2019 was the most chaotic year I've had in a long, long time. But what got me through it, like I was just with one of my best friends yesterday, Lindsay. He was like, you never would have known that you were going through all of that. And I was like, because I knew victory was on the other side of it. And that's how I feel about this time. 2020, even with everything going on, has been a great year for me, personally. But for the world, I know that victory is on the other side of it. So I appreciate those words, and I thank you for that. And I also want to encourage other artists, and I'm trying to help other artists and creatives and philosophers to get their art out and really create during this time and use this moment to plant seeds that will grow.
Hear that, JaVonne? Planting seeds that'll grow.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
See where that landed? That's a theme. That's a theme of ours, Nathan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the planting of the seed. You know, not to judge your own stuff, but just to plant the seeds. And your responsibility to self is just to move your feet through it. You know, and if it brings you tears, whatever it is, you know, bring the tears through it. You know, work through your tears. You know, but just the idea that you birth something, particularly in all this soil, we have a lot of fertilizer, or some would say a lot of shit going on.
Yep.
That can fertilize a lot of good things. So it's that time, you know.
You all remember Zulema Griffin? She was on Project Runway. Yeah. Do you remember the time she was a partner with some girl, and the girl started crying, and she said to her, "I don't care if you cry, but you're gonna cut and cry."
That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is, you know? That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is. Shout out to, we got a couple of people on the chat that are just, I don't know if you can see. Can you see the chat over there, Nathan?
I can. First of all, I just want to say, hey, Ulysses. I love that man. I love that man. Always have. He's always just been so kind to me, and we just always have a kiki and a laugh. You know, it's so funny. I have to just shout him out real quick because he's one of my favorite people. I was in Cannes 2 years ago with 90 Days, and the Whitney documentary premiered, and so I of my friends, I was the only one that had tickets, and so I'm sitting in there, and I turned around and I'm like, "Oh, Ulysses is here!" And then afterwards, he came and got me, and I went with everybody, and it's so fabulous to see your friends in Cannes. You know what I mean? Like, Black people have come a long way.
Exactly. Yeah, he's there's just not enough words to describe the beautiful soul that is Ulysses Carter. You know, he's our family. You know, he's our family, our producer. So many hats that he wears, and we love him. So yeah, anybody that says his name has always got this beautiful note. This is who he is. He's in there, he's posting stuff, and he plant the seeds and peel the onions. Yes, that is what we do. It's so unorthodox, this show, because it could go either way. It depends on who we have, and there's some people that we are sincerely excited about having on, just to peel back the onion, as we like to call it. But also, we have a game that we play that is a word association. It's not really a game, it's a word association. And what we do is, it gives people a look behind the veil that is Nathan, and sometimes, like, we've had some humdingers on and have left us in stitches. Shout out to Bonnie Pointer. She's been a funny one, may she rest in peace. But you ready to do that, Jay? What are you gonna do? You want to do that with Nathan?
Yeah. Why not? Let's do it.
All right. I think, so basically
Nathan, he looks a little like, what the hell are these?
I'm scared of what I will say, not y'all. I don't have a filter, so.
Well, good. No filters allowed.
No filters allowed, actually. And everybody has the same look. They all go, But it really is just a peek behind the veil. And it's the first word that comes to mind. Okay. So I'm going to start first. I'll say a word, then you say the first thing that comes to mind, and then JaVonne will go after me.
Got it. Right.
I'm loving his face right now. Okay. Politics.
Bullshit.
Administration.
Hate it. Only one word?
You can say whatever comes.
That's fine. You're doing well.
Black people.
Love them.
LGBT community.
Racist.
Ooh, that got me. Heaven.
God. Peace.
You're up next, Jay.
Love.
Me.
People.
Person.
Obama.
Cool.
Trump.
Asshole.
Slavery.
Lessons.
Thank you. Beautiful. Just beautiful.
I was like, I didn't know if I could curse. I was like, but that was the first thing that came to my mind.
Yes, you can curse. You can.
Yes.
Fuck it. Just fuck it. You can say whatever you want.
Yes. Because sometimes, I've done interviews and stuff, and I love profanity. I think it is beautiful. It sometimes some points just are punctuated better with a fuck you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But I don't use it as, I don't try to use it as combative or whatever. And so, but I was on this one, and they ended up like texting me, be like, "Oh, you can't curse on this interview." I was like, "Oh shit."
I love it. I love it.
I don't think I could be here without cursing, because it kind of rounds out the way You just have to get in there, you know. Like,
Yeah, it is what it is. You
It is
know.
what it is.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Wouldn't be me without a cuss word every now and then. You know,
Yeah,
sometimes.
sometimes it just lands the point.
Exactly. So Nathan, you know, when we get closer to November, first of all, I was speaking with Stanley Bennett Clay. You know Stan, right?
I love him. Mm-hmm.
Right, and so I don't know if it was last year, a couple of years ago. Stan, Terez, Monifa, and I, we did some short videos around voting, about getting out the vote, actually about people registering. So we want to take it a step further. You're creative, you're an artist, you're in film. We need you. We need you, whether you do something with us or, you know, even if you do something separate, whatever it is, we'll support it. But of course, I want to be a part of it. I want to some kind of way, even if that just means having you back on the show to show it to the world and to discuss it.
Well, yes, that's an easy yes. Let's actually work together and do something. Yes.
Awesome. Anything it takes.
Yeah.
Anything it takes. Yeah.
I will do. You know, I'm claustrophobic and I don't like a lot of crowds. So I'm not a protester. I would be so uncomfortable in, you know, that group of people like that. But I literally do everything else. I call, I email, I donate, you know what I mean? Like I write things, you know, whatever. But so anything and everything I can do on my part, I want to be like on November 3rd. I want to run up to November 3rd knowing that I did everything in my power.
Yes.
Then you have to just surrender to the universe and you have to trust the universe that the universe knows what it's doing. And I think we also, you know, it's actually something I've been working on to not be as devastated as I was last time. Is that, you know, because like now Ruth Bader Ginsburg is sick. And you know, I'm like, I'm not God. I can't control none of that. So I have to just surrender. But this I can control. So yes. Count me in. We can, you know, pull it together offline and figure out what we're gonna do.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
You. Awesome.
Yeah, because that's me also. I'm not a marcher or a protester the way I used to be when I was younger. I have become sort of a hermit in some kind of way. That's why it's in the basement. And I don't do well in big crowds, like where I'm just like in the crowd. If there's a room I can go in and handle some business and come out and face the crowd and then go back in somewhere like away from the crowd. Okay, that was nice. Bye. You know, pull me out of this.
Me too.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm not but yeah, that's something I can do. And see, I'm growing, Terez. I'm growing. This is, you know, because ordinarily I would sit here and want to ask you and not. And then on November 3rd, be like, damn, you know, I should have gotten that. When I had Stanley on the show, I should have spoke to him. I should have spoke to Nathan. I should have asked him. I should have, you know, but you know,
you, Jay. That's very big of you.
It is. It's big for me, not of me, but for me.
Yes,
to step out. But when you're in crisis, you do things that you wouldn't ordinarily do. And this dude that built a gate around our White House, built a barbed wire fence.
He was scared.
Punk ass.
Mr. Bone Spurs.
Oh God! And then our military, they're being killed for bounty, and like the Republicans,
so much going on. That story was there and it was gone.
How about that?
But hasn't everything been that way since the very beginning? Like every week, it's a different scandal. It's been something horrific. It's been something.
I'm sorry to cut you. But I want to get to the Joe Biden campaign. I don't know who I can make. I know there's somebody I know. They need to just do ads that just are a scroll of all the shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And no words. I mean, no music, no nothing like that. A black screen and a scroll of all the stuff he's done. You know, it is ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's not about politics anymore. This is human decency. This is basic levels of just what is right and what's wrong.
Fundamental. He's just fundamentally wrong on so many levels, you know. But he was fundamentally wrong as a man walking the streets in New York.
He's horrible. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I partied at 54 and would run into Glowworm there, and it was horrible. He'd walk in there with his bullshit, you know, and he's still walking in places with his bullshit. It hasn't changed much. And, you know, I don't even think he expected to be the president. Real talk. I just think that, you know, it was a thing to do. And it was like, oh, wow. Okay. So here we go. And if we don't know at this point, the United States is one big old corporation. We knew when he sat his ass there. So it's just ridiculous. I think we need to get him out to get back to some I still say that he was a direct response. Him winning the candidacy was a direct response of what we already knew was there in this country, and a direct response to Obama having 8 terms, you know. So that just woke up the sleeping beast to be more. I mean, it wasn't sleeping, but, you know, it just woke up the sleeping beast more, you know. And, you know, it is what it is. But
I cannot just have this one point. This is an encouraging point, and I want people to, I want more of us to bring this home. He won by 77,000 votes in an electoral college. Hillary Clinton beat him by 3 million votes. This great victory that he claims he had was not such a great victory, and I can't imagine that those 77,000 people have not watched the last 4 years and gone, what the hell did I do? At least 77,000. So, you know, and they know that they have to cheat, borrow, beg, and steal to win it. And they will. And so, but I don't want people to lose the facts of it, is that he didn't have some big win. He didn't kick Hillary Clinton's butt. She kicked his butt, actually. It's just, we have this slave time, antiquated system called the Electoral College that was put in place to protect the slave states who were worried that the non-slave states were going to take over. And we don't have and the first one, I don't understand why Democrats don't talk about this. One of the first things we should do is get rid of that damn Electoral College.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree with you 100%.
Facts.
100%.
Facts.
100%. Not only that, Nathan, in 2016, right before the election, there was the news cycle around Hillary Clinton's emails, which was so damn stupid. It was ridiculous. And those people who were on the fence, they didn't trust her to begin with, or they weren't sure and they liked the idea. And then some people were actually convinced that she had done something illegal because of those emails, and actually either voted for him or voted for a third party person, which that vote would have otherwise been hers. And, you know, I just hope that the media doesn't fall for that, because they're going to look at everything that worked in his favor, as well as they're already trying to get, you know, foreigners to foreign countries to infiltrate, you know, the election. But
you know what, that being said, Jay, all, you know, because the show broadcasts to more international countries, and for anyone listening in any of our countries that we are popular in at this point, please help us get rid of this clown, and please like this is not a game over here. You know,
China, are you listening?
Yeah, China actually listening. China's actually listening. You know,
yeah.
China. And, you know, we got to get this guy all the way out. You know, we just got to get him out of here. And any support. And we know, let's just know that we know that he's an issue. You know, we don't want, he's not the American dream. In fact, he's the American nightmare. And We are sorry for the public embarrassment, that this country has done. It's displayed by having him in the office, but we just have to get him out of here so we can get to some change.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that I believe Biden will do is restore or repair the relationships that we had with the nations that don't want us dead.
Right.
I mean, I would call them allies, but they're not friends of mine personally. But they don't want us dead necessarily. You understand what I'm saying? So
somebody said Biden was boring. Baby, give me boring. I don't want breaking news every hour.
Well, oh, no.
And first of all, Biden is not boring. He ain't never been boring. This whole narrative that they're trying to create about him having dementia and all of that stuff, and it's just bullshit. And then, but I also get on the likes of Puffy and all those people who are like, you got to earn our vote. Okay, so let's talk about that.
Okay, come on.
First of all, Joe Biden has a record, not saying his record is not perfect, because time and history have changed, right? So I don't ever get mad at people for having their view in 1976, the year I was born. So much has freaking changed since 1976. We weren't having conversations like this. We weren't talking about gay people. We weren't talking about a lot of things in 1976. So why am I going to criticize you about your position in 1976 unless you haven't changed it since then?
Right.
And this is what pisses me off about people. We all as human beings, my opinion has changed about so many things as I educated myself, as I've gotten older, as I've been exposed to more things. You're supposed to evolve. And but let's talk about right now, what that man in at Black Lives Matter Plaza does now is problematic and hurtful and destructive and deadly. And we gotta hold Biden to his feet to the fire too when he gets in there. But at the same time, we don't have a choice, y'all.
No, we don't.
There is no damn choice.
No.
And because the Supreme Court, you see what they've done with the federal judges. They've confirmed more federal judges than any administration, and literally changed the judiciary for another whole generation, because these are lifetime appointments.
And that needs to change. I speak about that all the time. That needs to change. First of all, I just don't understand why we have to be in positions as American people that anybody needs a lifetime anything.
The only thing I would agree with is the Supreme Court. The reason why I believe, but that's why the Supreme Court has to be so rigorous. It should be even a more rigorous process than it is, because I do believe the Supreme Court should not be concerned about being reappointed and reelected, or if we do, just have term limits and then they keep moving them out, But that would be the only one I could see. But all other judges, no, you don't get to do nothing lifetime. I don't believe in tenure for professors.
I mean, yeah, really. And then when you retire, then you're still paid. Like, at what point? And you can do a horrible job and still get paid for the rest of your life. And this is ridiculous. I think, and particularly now, I think that all needs to be changed. I think the entire system needs to be rehabbed. Everything. It doesn't serve its people anymore. Anything that doesn't serve the people needs to go.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, I have to say this. Richard Pelzer is texting me saying we did a great job, but he also wants me to remind everyone to subscribe to our YouTube page. I'm sure there's a moment at the end, but he's texting me, so I do what Uncle.
Whatever you want to say. So what's the YouTube page? And tell people, actually, tell people where they can find you and give any information that you want to give right now.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank y'all. I want to come back because I feel like, an hour is not long enough. I love your energy. I've always loved your energy. And, so just thank you for having me. I'm always very grateful that anybody wants me to be on any show, And so one quick shout out, and then I'll tell you where I'm at. This is my Jackie's Back t-shirt, Aretha, Whitney, Lil Brandy. Don, Jackie's back. Today's Jackie Washington Day. My heart, my love, Jennifer Lewis. Happy Jackie Washington Day. But I'm easy to find in these internet streets. I'm at Nathan H. Williams. My company is Inhale ENT. And then Richard and I have a YouTube page. There's already a lot of content on there. Some of my old television shows from BET days and a lot of our new content. And it's Inhale Mega V. We don't have a dedicated address yet because we need you all to subscribe so we can get to that 1,000 mark and get the dedicated. But if you Google or you put in YouTube Inhale Mega V, you will see our YouTube page. There's some great stuff on there. And we're going to be putting more content, some original content starting in September. And that's it.
Nice. Awesome. We're going to need one last thing from you, my dear, because we are a 24-hour radio station, and it is always in circulation, and we always want drops. And Ulysses would not let us sign off unless we got one from the legendary and Nathan Hale Williams. So you can introduce yourself, but you're just listening to Brunch in the Basement with JaVonne and Terez. You want the brunch in, JaVonne?
No, we're gonna drop the brunch and just
in the basement.
Nathan Hale Williams in the basement with JaVonne and Terez.
Okay.
Me.
See, you can do it. You can do it.
Hey there, it's Nathan Hale Williams, and you're listening to In the Basement with JaVonne and Terez.
I dig it.
You want me to do one more?
I want one more, and this time drop the listening. You're in the basement. These people are in the basement with us.
Yes. Okay. Got it.
There you go.
No. Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Hi, I'm Nathan Hale Williams, and you're in the basement with JaVonne and Terez.
That was beautiful.
Yes.
That was perfect.
Right.
That was perfect. I thank you. You're always on my mind.
Oh, thank you.
I'm just like a Twitter following, stalking type chick. And, you're one of those people I just kind of Twitter stalk. So I love your yes. Thank you so much. And we will speak offline so that we can figure out, what would be the best way and the best how to do it. Maybe we can do like a Zoom or something, Rez. We get Stan and Pops and everybody. Maybe get Sherry Carpenter, who's also a director, screenwriter, and so forth and so on.
You guys do you know Sherry, Nathan? Sherry
I don't think so.
Then you got to meet. You just got to meet
her. Oh my God.
Director love, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. She's worked on everything, Spike Lee and a lot of other Hollywood things. And
I love it.
She's just peeps. You know what I mean? You'll love her. And anyway, get everybody together and see what we can come up with so that we can encourage people to go out and cast a vote. Not only a vote, but vote all the way down the line. So we give Uncle Joe, right? Support so that he can make a difference. I'm here
for it.
We need to flip the Senate. Even if that dude stays, God forbid, we got to flip the Senate.
We do.
Because you can't. There was no trial. And why was there no trial?
Right.
Because well, there's been no accountability. We can go on, but yes, I already have some ideas. So
great.
Y'all let me know and let's get it popping.
Okay, I will be reaching out to you probably sometime Friday.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Nice.
Much love, y'all. Much love. Keep shining.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank everybody for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to our page here on YouTube and subscribe on Nathan's page. What's your YouTube page again? Give it to us again.
Inhale Mega V.
Inhale Mega V.
VEE, and it's virtual entertainment experiences. But VEE.
Virtual entertainment experience.
I can't remember if Richard came up with that or me, but probably me because I'm more creative than him.
I don't know, but it's sexy. It's so sexy. Y'all all entangled and everything. I don't know. Thank you, everybody. We will see you. Oh, dang. I'm so excited to say who is our guest on Saturday. You say it, Rez. You say it.
No, you go ahead and say it. You're excited. Go ahead and say it.
I'm excited. Because she's fun. I mean, God, I'm not entangled to anything, but I'm just saying. The lovely, the legendary Karen White.
Yeah.
Will be our guest, our special guest. So make sure on Saturday, 11 o'clock, get ready. I'm gonna start spinning some wheels a little bit. I got my new stuffs, that I'm gonna be playing, a little bit. And then Miss Karen White. So definitely check us out. And in between time, make sure you have a good rest of your week and stay safe.
Stay safe. Nathan, have a good week.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Indira Khan, and you're listening to and watching Brunch in the Basement with JaVonne and Terez.
Still in the basement, no longer alone, with my homegirl Terez on the microphone. Music, politics, or just chatting it up. Brunch in the basement, see that's what's up. You never know who might run through. Legendary artists or someone brand new. You miss a lot when you miss one day. At least that's what I heard somebody say. But it doesn't really matter what whoever says. It's always a good show with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Brunch in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Let's see who we got today or what we doing today or whatever it is, it's gonna be good. Woo!
Yeah.
I'm on. Everybody's a friend in my head. I already know everybody. One day I'll tell you about me and Shaka Khan, but
Oh my gosh.
yeah, but she doesn't know anything about it. But anyway, no, she doesn't. She wasn't even there actually. But anyway, the time. So,
and we thank you for that.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. This part, that little piece, I'm just gonna keep and play it all the time for myself. But no, I'm just teasing.